a wonderful idea. The Secret Seven discussed a new idea. They all together, it was a very good idea indeed. Colin felt very proud of her to think that he had given such a fine idea to them. If we could find a big enough tree and flat enough branches, and we could make a very fine meeting place there, said Peter. We could take up the boards and boxes and cushions and make a little store place for the biscuits and drinks and books and things. It would be superb, said Janet. Nobody would ever guess that we are there. And nobody could possibly hear what we say. Let's get out of this hot shed and go and find somewhere now, said Colin. I know exactly what ice cream feels when it begins to melt. As the poor old scamper, he is panting and run to the race. So he was. His pink tongue hung out long away. He panted out loudly. Peter got up. Come on, old boy. You can have a drink and scream when we go past. They looked at the biscuit tin with them, and they had all drank the drink of the orange juice before they left. Scamper rushed down the stream as soon as they knew that they were going. Hi, don't drink all the stream, called Peter. Scamper laughed and laughed. Then they went on their way and left him still lapping. We'll go find into the windy woods. There are some enormous trees there, too easy to climb too. They came to the windy woods. It was cool and shady there. Now let's look carefully at and see some spot a good tree, said Janet, big enough to hold the Secret Seven. What about Scamper? He suddenly said. He can't climb a tree. He wouldn't be able to come into the meetings. He could make up a sort of harness and pull up him, said George. He hated that, said Peter. Anyway, he's not really a member and he didn't come, or he could sit at the bottom of the tree and guard us. Oh yes, he could bark if anyone come near, said Brahma. He would be a fine gatekeeper, tree keeper, said Palm, looking. What about this tree? It's enormous, not good looking up at the great beach. Not low branches to climb up on. We must have a tree that's easy to climb, or we'll spend our time getting up and down. They get separated and begin to look for a likely tree. There didn't seem so many after all. George found out that he thought it was just right when he climbed up a little way and saw a possible kind of house that kept. No good, he called down. The branches crisscross too much and are far too thick. Down he came and Jan shouted, Come here, all of you. What's this about this tree? They ran up and looked at Jack's tree. Yes, said Colin. That really does look a likely one. One low branch rest, branch and high branch, and climb on places and put your feet on the trunk, and then another branch there and climb, and whatever it looks like a flattish branch. No, I will, said. I found it out. You come. He stood on a low branch and then made up his way, putting his feet on the jutting out and the pieces of the trunk, and he really seemed to make a good foothold. Bot spread out just right place to hold, and then Janet came and placed where the branches grew at the level from the great tree. It's fine, he called down. And then about the 6 branches here, all at the same level, more or less, and there a whole trunk too. It would be a fine cupboard. Come up here, there's a room for everybody. And the others climbed in excitement. Peter came at last of all, and case of the 2 girls got stuck and wanted help. But in such an easy tree to climb, nobody wanted any help at all. It's the biggest tree in the world, I should think, said Peter. When they were all sitting on the platform of the branches, what a luck to have so many broad branches all about the same level. Where's the hole you told us about, Jack? Jack pointed on a hole and said, here, and moved away from the part of the trunk and leaned against the others and saw a very large hole. Jack thrust on his hand and felt round it. It goes about 2 feet, it said, and made a fine store place for us. Just what we want. Well, we shall make the secret 7 tree our new meeting place. Oh yes, said everybody at once, and began to talk what they had to make to do it a proper tree house. Peter took out a notebook and said, the suggestions and ideas at the time, please. I'll write all of them. The end.